Okay, the lecture today is over 3.5, and your homework is over 3.5 and fraction summary, the one that follows 3.5.
Okay, repeat that again, I'm sorry.
The lecture is over 3.5. The homework, you have to do 3.5 and the fraction summary
Oh, okay.
that follows 3.5. Okay? And it'll give you a summary of everything that we've gone over.
And that's part of our
And
homework.
I believe even the summaries in the back of the book, you can check and look in the back of the book and see that a lot of times the summary type things, there's more in the back. Reviews, I know there is. Okay, 3.5. If you're going to put a fraction on a number line, well, they actually start with 0 over here. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, putting a fraction on a number line, where would you put, like, 1/2? Between the 0 and the 1. It would be a dot. Okay? What you could do is, for the problems that you have on this number line, this one is like number 1. You could just put which number is where. Number 3 as 3/2. Okay, 3/2 is what? 1.5, right? Go ahead. 3/2 is 1.5. So you're going to be between the 1 and 2, right? 1.5 will be right there. That's number 3.
It helps to turn some of them into mixed numbers to find.
You do need to, yes. If it's improper, turn it to mixed number. Number 5 says 7/3. 7 divided by 3 goes 2 times and 1/3. So 7/3 is 2 1/3. So don't put it halfway, because 1/3 is not all the way to half. If you had it divided into thirds, it would be about right there, right? So this is 2 1/3. Okay? You can either write the number of the problem up here, or you could write, like this was 1/2, number 3 was 3/2, this would be 7/3, okay? You don't have to write a separate number line for each problem you do, okay? How about 7/8? Where would that be?
That would be
That's less
real
than
close
one.
to the 1.
That's less than 1.
It would
8/8 is 1.
It would just
You'd have to
be-
picture it as being divided into 8 right here, or you could actually divide it into 8 if you want. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fourths, and then half of that would be your eighths. So it would be right there. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eighths. Okay? If it's improper, don't forget to turn it into a proper fraction. Like, let's say you have 23/5. You actually need to do the division to turn it into fraction. 5 into 23 goes 4 is 20, and 3 left over. 3/5. Don't do this on the calculator, because you're going to get 4.6 if you do a calculator, and it's not the same. It wouldn't be like 6/5. It would be, yeah, don't do the calculator, okay? Because this, you'd have to write it like this right here. It is actually the same, and it's going to show the same on this. But to turn this into an improper, or a mixed number is 4 3/5. So 3/5, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how we divided into fifths? 3 of those fifths. 1, 2, 3. See, it's a little over halfway. 4 3/5 right there. Okay? Is that enough of that? Okay,
Yeah.
let's go to comparing fractions. Let's say we had the fraction 1/2 and the fraction 3/8. Okay, which one is bigger? 1/2 is bigger?
Yep.
Okay, you could do that by turning this into eighths, right? Get a common denominator. 2 times 4, 1 times 4 is 4. 4/8 is bigger, right? 4/8 is bigger than 3/8. Let me show you another way that's quick and easy. The same fractions. If you multiply 8 times 1, you can put an 8 up here. 2 times 3 is 6. See how this is bigger? You can use this number to be able to tell which was bigger. And that will work every time.
Just multiply.
If you multiply up, not down. Don't multiply down. If you multiply down, your 6 will be on this side. And 6 and 8, and it'll be backwards. It has to be
see.
multiplied going up.
Okay.
Okay, you can put the number above it. Okay, so let's do another one. 5/6 and 11/12. You can either do the common denominator or do that way. 6 times 11, 66. 12 times 5, 70, 60. Yeah. If you don't want to multiply, you could turn this into 12s, right? Times 2 times 2. Either way, this side's going to be smaller, right? 60 is smaller than 66. 10 is smaller than 11. One way that some people do it is they say that Pac-Man is gobbling up the big one. If you forget which way is greater or less, remember it opens up to the big number, the big side. Some people remember it, they like to say, to think of this as an alligator. And the alligator's hungry, so he eats the biggest one. Okay? So the Pac-Man or the alligator eats the biggest number. If you can't remember, this one is greater than. This one is less than.
Well, also the point just always points to the smaller number, right?
The point points to the small one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One other way that's good, easy to remember, just how to read these if you don't know what greater and less is. Think about on a number line. See these parts of the arrows right here on your number line?
Uh-huh.
If a number is going that way,
It's
it's
less.
getting greater.
Or it's
See,
bigger.
0, 1, 2, see how they get bigger? If it's going this way, 3, 2, 1, 0, so going that way, it's getting less. If it's going that way, it's getting greater. Okay? A lot of people get these mixed up till you find some way that'll help you remember how to say which one is which. I like the number line thing. Going that way gets greater, going that way gets less. Okay?
I've always had a hard time with math.
How about this one? This one's bigger. Okay? You can either multiply those or get a common denominator. You have to do both of them if you get a common denominator. So I would just go ahead and multiply it myself. 20 times 37, you just do 0, and then 2 times 7, 14, 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 is 70. 50 times 13, put your 0 and then do 5 times 13. 5 times 3, 15. 5, 6. So you see which one's bigger, right? This one is bigger. It would be that direction on the number line. Or it's getting gobbled up.
How did you do that? Okay.
I did 20 times 37. I put the 0. Put a 0 and then 2 times 7, 14. 2 times 3 is 6 and 1 is 7.
So you're multiplying the 20 by the 37 and
20 times
50 by the 3?
37. And then
Going up.
50 times 13. Put the 0. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6.
Good.
Okay? Okay, now we're going to go to squaring a number. If you have a fraction or anything, any number that has a 2 up here, it's being squared. What does that mean? It means it's multiplied times itself. So this means 1/3 is multiplied times 1/3. So how do you multiply? Straight across. 1 times 1,
1,
3 times 3.
9.
There's your answer. Remember when you had like 4 squared? Was 4 times 4?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now we're just doing the same thing, but we're doing it with fractions. Okay? What if you have 5/8 squared? You have 5/8 times 5/8. 5 times 5,
25.
25. 8 times 8, there's your answer.
That's what the little 2 means up there.
The little 2 is times itself 2 times.
And sometimes it'll have a different number.
Yeah, and if there's a 3, you do it 3 times.
Okay.
That's how many times you multiply it times itself. How about a 5? Let's do it where we have, let's do 3/4 5 times. Okay? 3/4. How many times are we doing this?
5 times.
You have to write it all 5 times, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. You're not going to have 3 times 5, are you? That's not going to be 15. 3 times 3, 9 times 3,
27.
27 times 3, 81. 81 times 3, 3 times 1, 3 times 8, 243. Oops, I put a 5 down here. How silly. I was counting how many times I was doing it. 4 times 4, 16. 16 times 4, 64. 64 times 4. This is getting big, huh? 64 times 4, 256. 256 times 4,
924.
222, 2, 8, 9, 10. 1024.
But this will reduce, right?
No. Everything
leave
on
it like
top
that?
only, this only divides by 3 or 9 or multiples of 3.
So we don't have to
If
go
you
down
could have
anymore?
reduced this, you would have been able to divide it top and bottom here. All the bottoms divide by 4. So this divides by 4 and 2 and all kinds of numbers. They're multiples of 2.
Okay, you're right, yeah.
This only divides by 3, 9, 27, all those things.
So we just leave it like that?
That's as far as you can
That's
go.
how it's equal?
Yeah.
Okay,
The
cool.
good thing is, you know, it won't cancel, it won't reduce.
The good thing is that it says that's as far as we go.
Yeah, you know that's gonna be as far as you go. Okay, so do it the number of times that the exponent tells you that it multiplies.
Today's the second, right?
Today's the second,
All day long.
all day. Okay. How about using the order of operations using fractions? What was the order of operations?
Parentheses.
Do you remember the words that go with this?
Please excuse dear Aunt Sally.
My dear
Please
Aunt Sally.
excuse
My
dear,
dear.
my dear,
My dear.
my dear Aunt
Please
Sally.
excuse dear.
Okay, this is parentheses, right? This is exponents, which is these things we just did. This is multiply and divide. How do you do multiplies and divides? Left to right. You don't do all the multiplies and the divides. You go left to right. These have the same power. Adds and subtracts. How? Left to right.
Right.
Okay? They have the same power. You really, really, really need to learn this. Really, really, really. Everybody really needs to get this down pat, because from now on in math, you're going to be using the order of operations, and it's going to get you on every single test if you don't get it down pat now. You could know everything real good, and if you do stuff in the wrong order, you're going to get the wrong answers.
Don't you use the order of operations in algebra?
Yep.
I thought.
Every math from now on, you're going to use this. Okay? So you've done it already with just whole numbers. This one, you're going to have to do it with fractions. If you missed one on the first test, it was probably an order of operations problem, because it'll get everybody. Okay, let's do some of these. Okay, let's, you want to go ahead and jump into a kind of hard one? Like 54 looks hard, let's do number 53.
That's a 3.5?
Yeah, we're doing 3.5 in the summary. Number 53 says 1/2 plus 1/2 squared minus 3/8. Okay, it says to do parentheses first. Inside here, there's nothing to do. There's not like an addition or something inside here. So there's not really any work to do in the parentheses, so we go to the exponent.
Would you know we're doing this kind of sorry?
It's up here, 53.
Oh, sorry.
So we're going to go ahead and square it. Rewrite the whole problem. Don't scatter it all over your paper. Rewrite it underneath it.
The way we learned how to do it with exponents
Yeah,
before?
the way you did order of operations before, write everything down. You keep doing it till you finally come to one answer at the bottom.
Oh, and that stays in parentheses? You don't take it out of the parentheses?
It's going to be multiplied times each other.
But it stays in the parentheses.
I do it. I just do the, if there's a 2 up here, I put 2 of them, and then I put that number in there. You can just write it without parentheses and just put the times in there. You can do that. You still have to do this part. That's-
Yeah, I was just
that's
wondering if
part-
it needed to stay in parentheses, that's all.
Yeah, it doesn't have to, it
But the
can.
parentheses,
When the
remind you to do it
parentheses-
first, right?
Yeah.
And I
You
can
just
put
know you're doing it.
parentheses.
So now you're going to do this. 1 times 1,
Is 1.
2 times 2, 4. Rewrite everything. Okay, now, is there any other multiply divide? No. So now we go to add subtract. Left to right.
So you add
Even
first.
if this had been subtract, we would have done it first because it comes first. We need a common denominator. 4. So this is times 2 to get 4. The top is times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. This stayed the same, the top stays the same. Let's go ahead and write that part. Okay, 2/4 minus, or plus 1/4.
3/4.
3/4 minus 3/8. When you turn this into eighths, right? 4 is times 2. 3 is times 2. So now it's 6/8 minus 3/8. Did everybody see what I did?
Uh-huh.
Instead of using another line, I was getting
You just
close to
did it
the
right
bottom.
there.
So I
Uh-huh.
just did it right next to it.
So equals
6/8 minus 3/8
is 3/8.
is 3/8. I would have wrote it under it, but I'm kind of running out of room here.
So
I
you
think
just keep
we're
on
ended.
going till it,
Till it comes to one number.
or you could do it like that, you can do all of them like that, 'cause you have
Well, try not to do too many shortcuts like I did right there, because it might get you mixed up, okay? If you're positive you're doing the right thing, you do it, but it's usually better to leave it all, you know, just do one row, do the next row, until you're sure, you know, you're doing the right thing next. Let's do another one like, number 59 or 61, some of these harder ones, okay? Number 59 has 7/8 minus 3/4 in parentheses, and then divided by 3/2. So the first thing you're gonna do is parentheses, right?
right,
So we're gonna do this, we need a common denominator,
8,
which is 8. This stayed the same, so the 7 stays up there. 4 times 2 gives you 8. 3 times 2 gives you 6, right? Okay, 7/8 minus 6/8 is 1/8. Okay, instead of rewriting this down here, what do we do when we divide by a fraction? Multiply by the
It turns it,
reciprocal.
yeah, it turns into,
We multiply and flip it over. So instead of writing that and using another line, I went ahead and did that now. Okay, can we do any dividing before we multiply here? Yeah, the 2 and the 8 we can divide by 2. 1 times 1, 1, 4 times 3, 12. One answer on the bottom. Okay, let's do 61. It has a few things in it. It's a little more involved. Don't come to class and say, I'm going to finish doing all these in 10 minutes. These are going to take longer than 10 minutes. So get your homework done at home. 3/8 parentheses, 1/4 plus 1/2 times 32/3. Okay, follow the order of operations. Don't freak out because it's a bunch of numbers, okay? Start out with the parentheses. Doing this part, adding, you need common denominator, right? Which is 4. This stays, so the 1 stays. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. So rewrite everything. Okay, still we're doing our parentheses, 1/4 plus 2/4. 3/4, right? Okay, this is touching, there's no plus or minus. What does that mean you're gonna do here? You're gonna be multiplying, so we could go ahead and put a dot, or we could leave this in parentheses. Either way, you gotta remember you'll be multiplying these numbers. Go ahead and write this one down here too.
okay, let's see.
Okay. You can go left to right, but since they're all multiplied, you remember how we had a few fractions multiplied? We could multiply them all at once. So you can actually cancel any top and any bottom here.
32 and 80.
The 3's, you can divide by 3, just, you can't do all 3 of them, just one top and one bottom. Okay, a top and a bottom. How about 32?
And 8.
Divide by 8
4.
is 4. And the 4's, right? The top and the bottom on the 4's. So we have 3 times 1 times 1 is just 3, right? 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. So our answer is just 3. Would you get the same thing if you did these two first? You should. 3 times 3 is 9. 8 times 4 is 32. Multiplied by 32 over 3. See how you can divide the 32s? Divide by 32, and you can divide these by 3. So you still get 3 over 1 is 3. Okay, how about, here's some longer ones.
So the answer was 3
3,
over 1?
just 3.
I mean, just 3?
Yeah, 3 over 1 is 3. Okay, let's do a long one, like
Like that one.
63. That's a long one, huh? 3/4 is squared minus 1/2 minus 1/6 in parentheses and then divided by 4/3. What do we do first?
The parentheses.
The parentheses. Don't freak out. You say, okay, I'm going to start with that.
With the longest parentheses.
Common denominator for adding or subtracting, right? So you need to put 6's on the bottom. This stayed the same, the top stayed the same. 2 was multiplied by 3, so the top is times 3. Okay, when we bring this part down, we could go ahead and bring it down like this. Show that it's multiplied twice. 3/4 times 3/4. This part, if you want to go ahead and flip it over, you can go ahead and do the times the reciprocal. You won't be doing that part yet, but you can go ahead and, you know you're going to do that eventually, so you can do it now. Now let's take care of that parentheses part. 3/6 minus 1/6, 2/6. Okay? It doesn't really need the parentheses anymore, so we leave them off. 3/4 times 3/4. We'll go ahead and do that instead of writing it again. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. Bring this part down. We did the parentheses, then we did the exponent. Now what do we do next? Multiply and divide. This is subtract, so don't do that. Underline the part you're doing. Okay, we're multiplying. We don't do common denominators for multiplying. What do? We see if we can divide. How about
2?
divide 2 here? Divide by 2, divide by 2 is 2. The 3 and 6. Divide by 3, divide by 3. So 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Bring this part down.
So we only do common denominators for subtracting and adding?
Only for subtracting and adding.
Get up a little bit more, please, so I could say.
And now we're going to do our add and subtract. Now we need a common denominator. 16. That stayed, so that stays. Okay, 4 times 4 is 16. So the top times 4, 1 times 4 is 4. 9/16 minus 4/16. 9 minus 4, 5. 5/16 is your answer.
Let's see, 9/16.
Okay. How about 65 and 67? We'll do all the hard ones. 65. That way you'll have one a lot like the one you're doing no matter which one it is. 65 is 7/8 minus 1/4 in parentheses minus 2/3 and this is touching the parentheses. The 3/4 is squared. First thing you're gonna do, parentheses. Okay, you need, it's add or subtract, so you need a common denominator, right? Which is 8. Stayed the same, the top stayed the same. 4 times 2, right, is 8? 1 times 2 is 2. We're subtracting. Go ahead and write the rest of it. Since that's squared, we can go ahead and bring it down in parentheses. That's 3/4 times 3/4, right? Okay. Do this part first. 7/8 minus 2/8. 5/8. Minus all of this. These are all multiplied, aren't they? Because they're all touching. So let's just put times 3/4 times 3/4. What do we do next?
Do the multiple.
Yeah,
Just do all this multiplied. Divide by 3
Right.
and
2.
divide by 2. You can't do sideways up. So on top we have 1 times 1 is 1, times 3 is 3. 1 times 2, 2 times 4. Okay. Oh, good. We don't need a common we need a common denominator, but we already have one, right? Subtracting, we already have 5 minus 3, 2, 8. Yeah, is 1/4. Divide by 2 on top and bottom. Okay? And number 67. We have 3/4 squared. Then in parentheses, we have 2/3 minus 5/9 minus 1/4 times 1/8. The only thing in parentheses that has work to do is this one, right? So add and subtract, we need a common denominator, which is 9. Stay the same, top stay the same. 3 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay? The exponent, we can go ahead and write that, right? Just go ahead and spread it out so we can multiply it. This one, just bring it down just like it is. Okay, let's do that parenthesis. 6/9 minus 5/9. 1/9. Okay? This is touching, so that's still multiplied, right? So let's just do all of these at the same time. It's all going to be together. Don't do anything till you get everything written down though, okay? Okay, this has to be multiplied, and this has to be multiplied. Let's move it up. Okay, should we do any dividing over here? 3. Divide by 3 is 3. How about these? Let's do the other 3. Divide by 3 here, divide by 3. All we have left is 1 on top. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 4, 16 times 1 is 16. 1 times 1, 4 times 8.
Okay. You
32.
you divided the 9 into both threes?
Yes. I divide by 3 once,
Oh, okay, I see what you did. Okay, yeah, I
and
see
then I
what you
divided
did.
this 3
By 1.
By the
and
other
this
one,
3.
okay.
Right. Now we're subtracting. We need a common denominator. 32. 16 times
4.
2.
I mean, that's 2, I'm sorry.
1 times 2, 32. So 2 over 32 minus 1 over 32. 1 over 32. And that's your final answer, but we're not millionaires. Darn it. Okay? And
Very long.
that's the whole lecture, but don't forget you can do 3.5 and the fraction summary for your homework. 3.5 and the fraction summary. Right after 3.5. The page after 3.5 is the summary. Summary is on page 247.
That's what helps, huh?
Yeah, that'll help you to also get ready for the test, because that's more summary, more reviewing.